Hello, my name is Vanessa Kühn and I work as a product manager for emergency and transport ventilation here at Weinmann Emergency in Hamburg. And I would like to give you today a short introduction into our emergency and transport ventilator, MEDUMAT Standard2. So first, I would like to explain to you the outside of the device. To start with the front side, we have our display here, our rotary knobs with which you can make the settings. You can turn and click. You have the on and off button here, and you have the red alarm light flashing here in case of an alarm. On the left-hand side, we have our connectors for the patient hose system, for our measurement hose system, and for the flow measurement line. And on the left-hand side of the device, we have our air intake via this hygienic filter that filters air coming into the device from virus and bacteria. And we have our internal battery, which lasts about 9 hours under standard ventilation and can be easily exchanged by just clicking like this. And when you plug in the battery, make sure that you always hear a click to ensure that the battery is safely inside. On the back, we have our connection for power. So if you want to use the device with a 220 volt power connection, you can easily plug it in via this magnetic mag-hole plug, like this. Obviously, if you use the device in an ambulance, power connection is automatically done via the wall mounting in the ambulance. On the right-hand side, we have our connection for the gas supply. So this is the pneumatically driven device, so please make sure always to connect the oxygen before starting up the device. Also, on the bottom of the device, we have a slot for an SD card, which you can take out by just clicking on the SD card. And on this card, settings and also ventilation data are stored, and you can read it out via this SD card slot. So now I would like to show you how to make the device ready for use. So for this, first connect the oxygen supply to the ventilator by screwing it onto, and also make sure to plug in the other side to a wall mounting or to an oxygen bottle. And then connect the patient circuit. So we have a single limb patient circuit here. Just connect the patient hose here, our measurement hose system with the end-tidal CO2 measurement, which is optional, the pressure measurement and the PEEP regulation, and also our connector for the proximal flow sensor. On the other side, this is the patient side of the circuit, we have the patient valve with the PEEP regulation here, with the pressure measurement, with the proximal flow measurement, which is also optional, and the side stream CO2 measurement, which is also optional. And of course, the connector for the flow measurement and our MEDO trigger for manual ventilation. Please always use a patient filter when ventilating a patient to also make sure that the air that is exhaled, which is coming through this patient valve, is also filtered from viruses and bacteria. So now that we have connected everything, I would like to show you how to do the function check with the device. For this, connect the blue test bag to the hose system, like this, and then turn on the device. After that, go to function check, press enter and start the function check. Confirm the alarms and then turn and press every knob to ensure that it's working. And also don't forget the MEDU trigger. After that, confirm that the filter is still ready to use. And now the device is finishing the automatic function check and will show the results in a second. The device is now ready to use. Please only use the device if this is shown here. Other than that, please make sure to service the device. So now I would like to show you how to work with the device and how to start a ventilation. For starting ventilation, you have different options. The easiest option is via the emergency modes. So here you have 3 different emergency modes for infants, childs and adults. And these modes are preset, so they are pre-configured settings. And with only one click on one of those buttons, you can start an emergency ventilation. In this case, a volume-controlled IPPV ventilation. You see here the settings for the adults are 500 milliliters in tidal volume and a ventilation frequency of 10. So very easy, very quick. Besides the emergency modes, you have 2 different ways to enter ventilation. One of them is the previous patient, which will automatically start after 15 seconds when you switch on and off the device quickly. I won't do that right now. The other way is via new patient. So here you have the possibility to make a bit more specific settings depending on the patient. So I will set new patient. Here you have the possibility to enter the height of the patient and the sex. So first of all, I will enter my height, 175, and my patient is male. I go to next. Here I can choose my ventilation mode now. So I have the possibility to choose from different ventilation modes. So for example, IPPV, which is a volume controlled ventilation modes, bi-level ASB, or a CPAP ASB. Pressure controlled ventilation modes are optional. So of course, only if the option is installed on the device, you can choose from these modes. In this case now, I will choose PRVC. This is a pressure-controlled ventilation where you can set also a tidal volume. So here now the tidal volume is automatically calculated by the height of the patient. 420 in this case, this equals 6 milliliters per kilogram body weight. Also, the frequency is calculated by the height and the inspiratory to expiratory ratio. But I have also the possibility to change the settings here. Now I would like to start my ventilation by pressing the knob. And now the device starts with the PRVC ventilation. Now quickly show you how the screen works. So we here have the ventilation curves. So the pressure curve and the flow curve. We have here the settings, the ventilation settings that you can do. We have here the measurement values on the right hand side, and here you have the status line. So in the status line, as you can see right now, alarms are displayed. So high prioritized alarms are displayed in red, and medium prioritized alarms are displayed in yellow. Also, you have here the ventilation modes, the FiO2 setting, the battery status, and also the alarm mute status. In this case now, I have muted the alarm, so a very important function, which is here. So if I press it short, I can mute and unmute the alarms. If I press it long, I have a shortcut to the alarm menu and also to a nice function, which is activate automatic alarm limits. In this case, the device also activates automatically the alarm limits here, depending on the measured value which is displayed. Other than that, I have the possibility of a menu. Changing the ventilation mode is possible here. So if I press menu, I have the possibility to change the ventilation modes, also enter alarm limits, and make a bit more specific settings for the patient. For example, trigger and pressure ramp or I/E ratio. So this was a real quick overview on the device. One thing that I would like to show you also is the air mix button. So the device has the possibility to choose between 100% O2 and air mix. So if I press here, you see it here in the display, the device will suck in air through the hygienic filter and mix it with the oxygen from the bottle. So this was it, and I will show you right now this special CPR mode in a different setting. Okay, so now I would like to show you the special function of this device. This is CPR. Turning on the device again and waiting for it to start up, I have connected my ventilation mask to the host system, because this is the first part of the CPR mode. I will go now to CPR. Obviously, you can also choose the CPR mode from a standard ventilation. I will go also to emergency adult, and I'm automatically in my CPR mode. Right now you see here the LEDs are lighted up on the mask, and I'm now in CPR manual. So now I have the possibility to use the MEDU trigger, which is a manual ventilation button. So imagine coming to a CPR situation in the 32 mode, the patient is not intubated yet, you use the mask ventilation. So via the MEDU trigger, I can give 2 mechanical breaths. Sorry for this. I can give 2 mechanical breaths while tightening the mask here. After the patient is intubated and the airway is secure, I can go to a standard mechanical ventilation here, where the patient is automatically ventilated. And this is basically the CPR mode. Okay, so now after I've explained the device, I would like to show you how to handle the device after ventilation. So disconnect the patient host system. And you see here it's 3 parts, and these 2 parts are disposable, so this needs to be disposed, and this part is reusable, which needs to be wiped, disinfected. So take out the host system if you use a protective sleeve, and then separate the cable from the other things, and then wipe, disinfect the cable. Obviously I would use gloves, but for demonstration I do now. Also the device can be wiped, disinfected after use. And if you have used the hygienic filter for more than 24 hours in ventilation with air mix, you need to also exchange the hygienic filter. But the device will also remind you in the function check if you may have forgotten it. This can be left on the device for cleaning and disinfection if you don't need to take it off anyways. Okay, thank you for listening. You will find further information regarding MEDUMAT Standard2, of course, in the instructions for use, and also in the step-by-step instructions. You can download everything from our website. Also on our website you can find a PC simulation where you can train the use of the device at a computer. Everything you find at Weinmann-emergency.com. Thank you.